Welcome back to Afternoon Express, where we have got our guest in the kitchen, our food entrepreneur. We've got Uwini, and of course, Tumi holding it down too.
Yes, girl, we're holding it down and we're still baking up.
We're still baking up all things bread. Now looking for a dinner or lunch idea with loads of veggies? Well, we have just the recipe for you. Think about soft, pillowy pita bread filled with delicious aubergine, avo, and some nutty hummus. Delicious, Dumza.
But a pita bread does require you to have some type of liquid to bind the flour and all the ingredients together. And if you're looking for a dairy alternative, we've got our Good Hope soy that we're going to be using here. We've got our Good Hope soy milk that goes into our ingredients here. It's a perfect alternative for anyone that doesn't want to have dairy. It is versatile. The great thing I love about it, Balasa, is that it is GMO-free, it's cholesterol-free, naturally cholesterol-free. It's very vegan-friendly. So if you are looking to find something to use in your diet, then this is the perfect ingredient for that. And to start this recipe, Balasa, I've just got some flour, I've got some sugar, salt, yeast, and I've also got some water. But like I said, we're going to be putting our Good Hope soy into our dough to mix everything together.
Now, this is quite an interesting take on this recipe because using the CLOVER Good Hope soy is just kind of elevating all those flavors, giving us a healthy alternative, because at the end of the day, it's the perfect, tasty dairy alternative that is smooth, richly textured, like milk, you know? And Utomi has mentioned the fact that it's naturally grown, but also a Good Hope soy. It can be used in cereals, baking, or cooking. So, Dumi, today, as you continue to mix it in, I love that, on this station, Winnie, you've got the veggies.
Yeah, I've got the filling started, and I have some lettuce here, some hummus, I have some pickles, tomatoes, onions, parsley, some oil, all of which will go into this beautiful pita bread right here.
Wow.
So I'm just getting started with the eggplant, slicing them up and just putting them on the tray. It will go into the oven to bake for a bit, and then it's time to assemble it.
Voila.
Yeah.
Now, I've got a very tricky relationship with eggplant / aubergine. First of all, let me know at home what you prefer to call it. Is it eggplant? Is it aubergine? I kind of use both interchangeably, but the taste of it, the texture of it, I love myself some avo, but I struggle with aubergine. So it's going to be interesting to see, Winnie, how you flavor it and bring it to life. How do you normally play with aubergine?
So it just requires very light seasoning because it already has a flavor of its own, so you don't want to tamper with the flavor. Just a little olive oil drizzle on top of it, and then some salt and pepper, and that's it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Beautiful. And then it goes into the oven, eh?
It goes into the oven, gets cooked, and then it gets mixed up with all of this. All of this would also lend your beautiful flavors as well, along with the aubergine, and everything just goes into the pita bread, and then you eat.
You eat.
Yeah.
Dumi, as we are focusing on pita bread right now, this whole week has been about bread. What makes pita bread so special?
Balasa, besides the fact that right now I'm using our Good Hope soy in it, the fact that it's so enriched, pita breads are simple because of the fact that they've got so much, versatility in terms of you can fill them or you can actually serve them flat. Some people actually make like gyros with them because I know it's a very popular Greek ingredient. So you do that with them. Palas, I'm talking to you and I'm thinking I'm not going to go through that kneading that we did with Chef Chart on Tuesday. So instead I want to put this aside and start rolling up our balls of dough here and actually get the pitas cooking. And so that's another thing I love about them. It's quite a simple ingredient. It's quite something that you can fill with whatever ingredient of your choice. You can top it. You can make it a meaty dish. You can make it a vegetarian dish. You can even do something like fish. In this instance, Winnie's put some ingredients like we've got some gherkins in there, some tomato. You could add a piece of fish into there just to heighten it as well.
I mean, Winnie, I kind of see pita bread as like little pockets of goodness.
Yeah, they're really cute.
So what have you put in so far in your pita bread? I also saw you lining it with some hummus.
Yes, so I just lined it with some hummus, and then I put in the lettuce that's been shredded and the pickles. There's something you call the pickles. What did you call that again?
Well, that's another argument. There are pickles, there are gherkins. Maybe South Africa can tell us what the right word is, because some people call them gherkins, some people call them pickles. What would you say, Bali?
I don't know. I'm even moving across because I'm trying to avoid the question. I also want to fill a pita bread, but I actually call them pickles. I grew up calling them pickles when I started watching TV, Winnie. Yeah, you know these Americans, sometimes they end up swaying our conversation. And then I end up calling it sometimes a gherkin.
Yeah.
But I've never known a gherkin. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what everyone answers. But I'm loving the fact that we are still keeping it quite traditional.
Yeah.
With hummus. Hummus, I think, goes perfectly with pita.
Yes, it does, with bread, generally. And it also works really well as a spread. Yeah, for bread, yeah.
Very versatile.
Yeah.
So I hope I'm doing this right.
Yes, you are.
I don't want to put you to shame as you slice up your avo. Dumi, talk to us about the bread station.
All right, so in the bread station, our pitas have already gone into the pan to fry, and the whole idea here is you want to let that steam form inside of the pita, so it gives you that beautiful pocket. You know, you mentioned the little pockets that you're talking about. As you can see, because of the yeast that's been worked and activated in there, it's creating some air on the inside of the pita, allowing you to be able to cut through it and do what you guys are doing there, and fill it, you know. So we want the steam to create. You don't want to roll it too flat, because if it's too flat, it then goes towards a naan bread, and that's in essence what we're looking for now. We want that air to form. So I'm giving it some time to sit at as is, just create those air bubbles, and then I'll flip it over just now.
Okay.
Now, I'm the type, in Zulu, will you say?
Do you want some?
Thank you. I would say ngigimba. And ngigimba is someone who is greedy. You know, someone who just wants to eat all the food. So I think I'm overfilling my pita bread. Am I doing a good job?
That's okay. As long as you can put it in your mouth.
Right. Okay, got you. And you did say that here, this aubergine, you were able to flavor in the most simplest way, just to bring out its natural earthy flavor. So I'm going to actually put a slice also within my pita. I don't know how I'm going to eat this, South Africa. Because, wow. Dumi, any last tips and tricks to remember when it comes to this recipe?
Well, the good thing, Palace, I'm glad you're filling your own, because then you can't blame anyone for it being too big or too small. But just whenever it comes to recipes like this, I always suggest to be as creative as you like, you know? Use whatever you've got in your pantry. It's a perfect excuse to utilize some ingredients that have been sitting there and need to be cherished and need to be celebrated. And a pita is the perfect way to do that. And as you can see, Pale, it's puffed up. Look at those beautiful air bubbles. And now it's time to flip it over and let the other side cook. So while this other one cooks away as well.
Well, cheers, Winnie. Let's have a little bit of a taste test. As we keep going, I like to taste and make sure everything is perfect.
Looks good.
But the real eating and the real feasting is going to happen at the end of the show. Well, so cheers to us.
As you can see, these girls are indulging and going in. And if you also want to get in on this action, just go to afternoonexpress.co.za for the full ingredient list for this recipe.
Soy goodness from nature. Source of plant protein. Naturally cholesterol-free, lactose-free. Made with love by Clover.